Stop! We're not doing that again. No, I think I'll mix things up a little bit. My good friend and confidant, Canadian groove metal artist Alchemutation, has some songs for us to listen to instead. I'm going to leave a link to his Twitch and his Discord channel here in this video and in the description, so be sure to check him out if this kind of music is your vibe. So, a little bird told me that this month, May, is Mental Health Awareness Month. So I thought I'd share a bit of a story with you. A story about how I overcame social anxiety and self-confidence and self-esteem issues. Now, when I say I overcame these issues, it doesn't mean that I got to just happily walk off into the sunset feeling healed. I'm still struggling with it, and I still fail at it sometimes. But for the most part, I'm able to function just fine. So, let's get started. Where did these feelings even come from? I wasn't born with them. I have ADHD. I tend to be a target. I'm very hyperactive, hence the H. My behavior is very animated. I talk with my hands a lot. And sometimes I'm a little erratic with my behavior because, I don't know, I just saw one too many Jim Carrey and Robin Williams movies, I guess, as a kid. So naturally I became a target of a lot of people wanting to, I don't know, put a stop to it. Well, here's the thing. I was never really the type of kid that liked to fight back. Even if somebody was being mean to me, I did not like to be mean, ever. So that's just the way I'm wired. I just don't have it in me. Unfortunately, that means I got to be everybody's punching bag and doormat. Also, life at home wasn't much better. You know, my mom might watch this later, so I'm not gonna spill all our business out onto the internet.
Just don't spill our business out there on the internet.
My mom does not actually talk like that. I don't know why I'm channeling the inner church lady. Remember what I said? My behavior's a little erratic. I'll simply say this. Mistakes were made. Not everything went to plan. Some things were bad. And with all the bullying I received at school on top of the home life, long story short, I was a troubled teen, and the only thing that brought me comfort was going full Retsuko on songs by bands like Korn. So, I was told by kids and other people that I was worthless, and that I was unworthy of affection, that I was unworthy of love, that no woman would ever want me, and that I was basically going to die alone. There's a word that was used over and over again in the 90s and 2000s that YouTube won't let me say. I'll simply say that Korn's self-titled album, track 6, is the word that they would use. But basically, they were saying that you are so far removed from a woman ever loving you that you might as well go the other way. When you get told that over and over and over again, repetitiously, it gets ingrained into you and conditioned into you, and whether you want to believe it or not, you start believing it. And so after a while, I got very gun-shy around people. I didn't ever physically flinch, but socially I would flinch. I was too afraid to approach people. In fact, now, even now, it still comes out. Like, anytime I need to make a phone call, I gotta have like a whole 80s training montage before I can work up the strength to make a simple phone call to a stranger that I don't know, you know? Alright, here we go! It sucks. It sucks, you know, just dealing with that trauma and feeling social anxiety, but so when you get conditioned that way, the way you deal with social anxiety is you just don't engage in it. You stay inside. And so I spent a lot of my childhood staying inside playing video games because that was easier than going out and dealing with them. When I became an adult and moved out on my own, part of it was that I was broke and couldn't afford to go anywhere. But also, I'd rather stay inside. Aren't there bears outside? You know, stuff like that. I was a recluse for easily a good 7 years of my adult life, and I didn't get out, I didn't see any concerts. Earlier I said, you know, I was screaming along to Korn songs and Slipknot songs, and I'd never seen them live. I really would have liked to have seen them live. And to think of all the frivolous purchases I made, even when I was broke, spending money I didn't have. I could have afforded a concert ticket. Why didn't I go? Because I was too scared. That's why. I didn't have anybody to go with, and I was scared. And in hindsight, I should have just gone, because I would have met up with people like myself, and I would have made connections there that I could not make in my local area. So that was really dumb. But anyway, one of the words of advice people would give me is they would say, "You need to work on your confidence," which is like stupidest advice. You're not wrong, but you're so general in what that is that it's frustrating me. Now I'm impatient with what you just said because of how platitudinal it was. And also just how tone deaf it is. It's like walking up to a homeless person and saying, "You should work on your financial stability problem." Oh, thanks. It's like those people, whenever they see you stressed out, they say, "Just breathe. Remember to breathe." Thanks. Should I remember to blink too? Remember to breathe. What kind of advice is that? All right. I gotta focus on breathing. I'm very concentrated on my breathing. And now I think I'm gonna start hyperventilating. Hell, I'm more stressed now than I was before your advice came along. Thanks! You suck at this! Oh, jeez. So, I'm gonna give you what I did to improve my confidence, and hopefully that's a bit more helpful advice for your self-esteem than people just trying to be helpful. I mean, I get it. They're trying to be helpful. I appreciate it. You really ought to think about what you're saying, though, because you kind of sound stupid. It's just aggravating me now. Me and a friend of mine tended to pass like these little TED Talk videos back and forth of people who just had unique perspectives on life, just something to get you thinking and thinking outside the box about life, and maybe it would jog something loose. And he sent me a video by a pickup artist, and I was like, oh God, here we go. I don't want this. All right, I'll watch it. Let's hear what he has to say. Maybe it'll be interesting. And, I was rewarded for my curiosity because he did say something interesting. He wasn't talking about techniques. He wasn't talking about anything. He talked about entitlement. And he said that someone who is entitled tends to get what they want 9 times out of 10. Whether they're actually entitled to something or not is irrelevant. They will still get it. Why is that? He said, when you think about wanting to get something in life, you need to feel entitled in order to get it. And you can't just walk into a situation and go, okay, entitled, I'm entitled, yeah, and be entitled. You've got to sit and work with yourself. You've really got to sit and reflect and work on it. And why am I entitled? Why do I deserve this? Why have I earned that? So I started small with this new way of thinking. I was like, I've never thought of things this way. So I started small, and at the time of being a recluse, I stagnated mentally and physically. I was just getting worse because all I was doing was eating, and I became morbidly obese. And I'm pretty sure it was morbid. I weighed 275 pounds. So if we look up on a BMI chart, I'm 5 foot 10 inches, which is not short enough to be short, but not tall enough to be dateable. And if you look up 5 foot 10 to 75 pounds, you'll see that's class 3 obese, which I believe is just past the cutoff to be morbid. So I was having health problems. It was getting really bad. So eating in restaurants alone was an anxiety thing for me because I could just feel everybody judging me. Hey, who's this fat slob shoveling more food into his big fat face? That's why nobody's hanging out with him right now, because he's a fat failure and a fat loser with his fatness. This is genuinely the way somebody who suffers a lot of abuse thinks of themselves. And this is how we think you're thinking of us. Is that a healthy thought to have? No, but I didn't put it there. And by the way, while I'm thinking about it, to anybody who says, you need to let that stuff go, that's like getting bit by a tick and somebody saying you need to let the tick go. I didn't put the tick there, and I'm not holding on to the tick. The tick is on me. I need to pull the tick off. So these are problems that are latched onto me that I'm having trouble pulling off. You're not helping! Stop giving me advice! You suck at it! So as long as I was with somebody, I felt like that justified whatever I was doing, and I didn't want to just eat alone. But I was really craving pho one day. I really wanted some Vietnamese noodle soup and some egg rolls. And I couldn't get anybody to go with me. So I was like, but I really want that. And how do I feel entitled? Well, it was such a simple thing, but I was able to get it was just a simple proof of concept. Could I go to a restaurant and eat by myself? Could I get over my fear of that? And the answer is yes. And I got to thinking about all of the challenges I've overcome and gotten better at. Like, for example, I have 2 college degrees. I used to have a lot of trouble articulating myself and communicating. Now I'm too wordy and the videos are too long and I'm working on my brevity. Communication is not a problem for me anymore. I also thought about all the things that happened to me that did not break me, all the things that I endured, and I'm still here. It didn't stop me. And whenever I start to think about why am I not where I want to be compared to other people, I have to say, hey, they didn't have the setbacks that I did though. And if they had the setbacks that I did, they'd be way far behind me compared to where I'm at right now. So stop being so hard on yourself. And I started really musing about that on my way to this restaurant, and I got in there. One thing that helped was having my phone on me. It kept me distracted from other people judging me. And it took some talking and some inner pep talk, and I had to sit in the parking lot for like 10 minutes, hyping myself up, but I did it. And I just continued to do it. And I realized this wasn't an overnight change. And I've been doing it for years, almost a decade now. And I'm usually on top of it. I'm able to get to that pep talk area a lot faster. That's what you become, is more agile with it and a lot faster with it, so that you can be confident in a time when you don't feel confident. You can reach a level of the confidence that you need faster. The more you think about it, the more you muse about it, the more you reflect on it, and you keep yourself fed into confidence. But there are times I slip up, guys. You're not going to be perfect. It's not like you can just walk away, like I said, feeling healed, like, oh wow, I overcame it. I'll tell you a quick story. This is still bothering me. This stupid thing that happened is still bothering me, and it's not something that should bother me, but it does. Because it's not that it in and of itself bothers me, it's an example, and it's, how did I screw that up? I live way out in the country. I live kind of out in the middle of nowhere, so it takes me a while to get somewhere. And I needed something from the grocery store. That's a good half an hour drive. So I'm gonna be gone for at least an hour. This is gonna take a while. It's not just a quick hop, skip, and a jump. This is a trip, all right? I drive all the way out there, and I go up to the aisle where the thing I want is, and I look and I see it on the shelf, but there's 2 guys working in the grocery store, the stockmen, and they're standing in front of it just chatting, not doing any work, just chatting. I mean, whatever, I'm not here to judge. But I could not bring myself to ask them to move. I just looked at it, they didn't see me, and I was looking at it, and I looked at them, and I looked at it, and I just froze, and I just looked at it like, I turned and walked away, deflated, like, I guess I don't need that right now anyway. And meanwhile, my inner voice is like, dude, you drove all the way out here with the express purpose to get this thing. Yeah, that's my fault, isn't it? What? Oh well, try again next time. What the Yeah, also, I think what was not helping the situation was the fact that I was depressed also at the time. And I was looking to do something unhealthy that night. I was planning on eating unhealthy and drinking unhealthy so that I can feel better. It works. It doesn't bother me that I faltered in the moment. That's not what bothered me. What bothers me is that I didn't walk away, collect myself, come back and try again. That's what I should have done. That's what bothers me. I knew I could have. Even in the moment, I was like, just take a breath and go back and try again. And it's like, it's okay. I'll just buy something else and get out of here. I don't really need that, I guess. Ugh, frustrating. But anyway, the point is, relapse is part of recovery. You're gonna slip up now and again, and it's okay. It's okay when you slip up. Whatever you do, don't engage in pathological destructive behavior as a result of it. It's okay to screw up once in a while. It's okay not to be strong once in a while. It's gonna happen. It's all right. As long as you're strong way more times than you're weak, I consider it progress and I consider it a win. I'm gonna slip up on confidence here and there. I've slipped up before, but it's rare. It's been a couple years since I've had a major slip up like that, and I call that major when really it was minor. It wasn't really the end of the world. No. So anyway, that's my story of self-confidence and what to realistically expect. If I had some words of wisdom to impart you with is this: no matter what you've been through, you didn't endure all of that, and you didn't improve as far as you have. You have not gone through all of what you have gone through only to be told no in life. You're never gonna get ahead unless you take that brave step forward. Take that step. It's scary, it's gonna suck, but you'll thank yourself later, as opposed to me, who's still mad at myself for not telling that guy to move out of the way so that I could grab a pack of diet sodas. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. You have more power than you realize. Seize it and grow. Take care.